Daniel Betancourt here with you.
We can convert, close that. Cool. We're going to be running at a high level.
Help us maximize the market in our favor as real estate professionals.
Whoop, whoop. What's up? What's up?
What's going on? We're halfway through the first month already.
Yes. If you haven't gotten contracts under place already, you are behind the times because we are writing listings and signing contracts. So it's a good January so far.
How about you guys? Getting real.
It is. Fast. It's getting real. It's getting EXP all over here.
Yep. Yeah. So happy second week of January, and you have an event coming up. We're going to be sharing some key takeaways from the last event. So last week we had the leads, listings, and leverage events at Lou Gardens, and that was really awesome. That was last Tuesday. We had about 85 agents in the room learning from the previous #1 agent in the world, Michael Hellickson. So
on the planet.
On planet Earth, which could also be the universe, but we don't have the
we haven't been outside to confirm that yet.
We don't have enough research to know what the production is like in the total expanse of space. But yes, as far as we know, as far as the solar system that we have discovered, he has been the #1 agent. Just so yes, he's doing 120 to 180 transactions a month at his peak, and had over 700 listings at one time. So that's pretty overwhelming to even think of having that. You know, what kind of staff do you have to have in place?
I mean, I can only imagine the support system, but he was a machine, 5-6 listing appointments a day. Here's the address, give me the number. Here's the address, give me the number. Send me the docs. And especially in a day and age when, I want to say the dinosaur age of real estate, which is 10, 15 years ago, compared to today, where everything's can literally be done from your phone or on the laptop, where, we couldn't get paper documents 15 years ago, to digitally sign. Everything was still faxed and copied and scanned. So actually impressed that he was able to do that in that kind of time without the technology we have today.
It comes down to systems and scaling. And I think that's what he's a master at, systems and scaling.
Yeah.
And not falling outside of your expectations and constantly knowing your numbers and inspecting what you expect and all kinds of things. So we wanted to go over some of the key takeaways from the meeting. And I know I have 7 pages of notes here, so I'm going to have to skim through them for the key.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same thing. I've got to go through my notes deeper. You've actually taken the time to type yours out, and I love it. I love that. Mine are handwritten chicken scratch, but kind of got the same idea. And also, he's got his top 31 ideas here too for getting listings, and what people should be doing. But I'll let you get started on it. But let's talk about the events real quick we got coming up at the office this week, and then we'll dive into the notes. So tomorrow we've got vision boarding with Canva. With Yvonne Sandoval at the office at 10 o'clock. If you'd like to come, please let us know. We've got actually a full room registered. And Wednesday, we've got a realty resource roundup with our industry partners at the office at 10 o'clock as well. Just talking about what's going on with each one of their divisions in real estate. And it's title, mortgage, insurance, home warranty, inspections, etc. So let us know if you'd like to make that as well. Both of them are 10 o'clock on Tuesday and Wednesday this week. And I want to give a shout out to Aaron Luden for his masterclass. It's the new format that he's doing over at NZN Theater, and that's going to be on Thursday. I believe the doors open at 9:30. More roundtable discussion versus panel style. So looking forward to that.
Sweet. Yeah. And so your vision boarding event's happening tomorrow. I think it's really important for us all to put our vision boards together and kind of visualize what we expect or what we want to happen.
Yep.
And by putting it all together on a vision board, and part of the magic there is to put your vision board in a place that you see it every day, and you're reminded of what your vision is, then that's going to be really helpful. And I would say, I don't know, they'll probably cover some of this, but you want to in your vision board include, financial goals, business goals, health goals, family goals, and spiritual goals, faith goals. So you have all those, kind of have a vision for each of those areas of where you want to be, and the the little shortcut that I use for doing it is Google Images rather than magazines.
Well, that's what we have a bunch of magazines, but it's going to be done through Canva. So you really type the idea in Canva, and the image pops up, and you could drop it on your board. We've always done magazines, but it's the hardest thing without spending $50 on magazines, trying to find somebody with the magazines that you want, which I think is fun too, because you have to dig through the magazine to find the photo of what you want. But you are exactly correct. I have my last 2 boards on my wall here at the office, so I look at them every day. And getting the physical, mental health, and financial and business and spiritual on there is exactly what you want to do.
Yes. So Google Images is my little shortcut trick. And, you can organize it. You can organize it with your phone as you're leading up to the event and you're planning, okay, this is what we're going to be doing at the event. You can start saving images on your phone for when you're ready to, print them and paste them. So
that's a good idea. Start planning ahead for the vision board. It goes a lot faster.
There you go. So, that's awesome. That sounds like it's going to be an amazing event. And I think anyone who is interested in upping their business should get in contact with you and be there. So message one of us. So I'm going to go right to it. Yeah, I'm going to cover, I've got these notes here. So Leads, Listings, and Leverage was the name of the event. And I had the pleasure of doing the event twice, once in Boca Raton on Monday. Was that Monday? I did that on Tuesday, and then that's where these notes came from. And then on Wednesday, we had the event here in Orlando. And so I was just supporting my Club Wealth family and friends. I'm a coach with Club Wealth, and the founder and CEO, Michael Hellickson, was presenting in town. So, all right. So these are paraphrasing, for the most part, his words. This year, there's one thing that we all should be focused on. What is that one thing? Everyone gives out all the typical one things, discipline, I'm trying to think of one words. I'm thinking of phrases like minimize distractions. But his one thing was habits. We should all be focusing on our habits, improving our habits.
No, that's perfect too, because the habits is a big thing. Habits will create a lot of, will lead to discipline, and will lead to a schedule and everything else.
Right. So habits. And then he said there's 3 key habits that we need to master in order to succeed in business, in order to stay in business, because 87% of new real estate agents fall out of the business, right? We've been hearing that statistic for a long time.
Yep.
So if you want to last in real estate, you have to master these 3 habits. And those 3 habits are lead generation, lead follow-up, and lead conversion. So you master those 3 habits and you will succeed long-term in real estate. So 1, lead gen, he emphasized, pick up the freaking phone, So a lot of people, they try to avoid the phones. They want to do everything but call. So this is a face-to-face and voice-to-voice sport. And so you want to pick up the phone and basically, set those appointments up. Speed to lead. He talked a lot about speed to lead in terms of lead follow-up. So when leads come in, he said there was a university study that showed if the lead is older, or, if 5 minutes go by and you haven't responded to the lead, your chances of touching that lead or communicating with that lead goes down 900%. So 5 minutes is the absolute worst case scenario. The number 1 agent in the world, he says, has it down to under 30 seconds. And the goal is to have it, his goal is to have it in the 18-second range. So speed to lead is very, very important. And he talked about the importance of understanding your P&L and just, reviewing that on a regular basis. You always want to inspect what you expect. So if you expect profits, you want to be inspecting those numbers on a monthly basis at minimum. He recommended QuickBooks for that. QBspecial.com. So leads come in, call them. Short sales are coming back. REO is coming back, but not as strong as it was during the crash. Creditors are calling default sellers a lot. He highly recommends using buyer agent agreements. If you're a realtor out there, he says within 24 months it's going to be required. So we might as well get into the habit of doing that now. 6 years ago, 61% of business was from repeat and referral business. So we want to increase our leads, because whenever short sales, or if it becomes a buyer's market, when there's short sales and foreclosures and default sellers, those people are less likely to call their friends and family and kind of admit that, because it's a little bit embarrassing. So what happens is those sphere of influence type leads, they don't call you because they're embarrassed about their predicament. So we should be staying in touch with them.
And I feel like you always need to be adding to your database with new people. So whether it's just, without trying to bug your sphere a ton, always, spend a little bit of money bringing some opportunities in there.
Yes. So how, the size of your database is not the size of your database, but the size of your sphere of influence is very important. Yeah. So if you have, for example, 250 people that you can list as people who know, like, and trust you, this is your sphere of influence. You should be able to generate at least 10% of that number in transactions per year. At most 20%. At minimum, if you're not dropping the ball, you should have at least 10% for your sphere of influence, not your entire database, but your sphere of influence.
Yeah.
So he talked about strategies for staying in touch with your sphere of influence better, and a lot of awesome strategies for that. So if you'd like all of these strategies that we learned, you can get in touch with myself or Todd, and we can share that with you. One of the things that he talked about, when you're talking with folks on the phone, is the acronym BROT, B-R-O-T. A lot of people probably heard that. Building relationships on trust. And you do that with this strategy, which is Ford, right? So Ford is speaking to those folks about family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. So when you keep the conversation on those topics, then you're going to be building relationships on trust. So those are just kind of some methods for building rapport with the folks that you're talking to on the phone. This is something that I thought was interesting, because he said 72% of buyers work with the first agent that they come in contact with that doesn't drop the ball, and they're searching online. So most buyers are searching online, and they do business, 72% of them, with the first agent that they come in contact with that they like, essentially. So what that means is, if you're an agent out there, you're losing business to those agents that your sphere are reaching when they're doing their online searches. So if you have someone who knows, likes, and trusts you, but you're not in touch with them, and they decide, hey, it's time to buy a house, and they start poking around, the first agent that contacts them that they like, they're more than likely going to do business with them. So don't lose your sphere of influence contacts to the internet, essentially.
So that's where remarketing comes in from your database. Figure out how to drop subtle ads in front of them to keep in touch with them, or just to keep in front of them, so that way when they're doing the home search, hopefully they're coming back to your website, not Zillow, Realtor.com, or any of the other 500 sites that are out there.
And have purposes for calling them on a regular basis. Yep. And so one of the main things that he shared was having those client events. So when you have those client events, it gives you an opportunity to reach out to all of your sphere of influence and your past clients, and invite them to the event and build relationship more on trust through that Ford strategy. So, that was all awesome. He talked about getting a surefire way to get leads to pick up the phone. So something that plagues a lot of teams and team members and team leaders is lead comes in, you call them, they don't answer. So he shared his strategy of how he gets 82% of incoming leads to answer the phone. So that's an awesome one. You'll have to connect with us directly on that one, and we'll share it with you. But I think that was one that had the whole room, excited and commenting about that one. So that was really interesting and effective. Some of the agents on my team, when they do this, they're like, I'm amazed. At 50% of the time, it increases the likelihood of answering 50% of the time, because they don't do it to the level that he recommends, which gets 82. But just doing it halfway increases the chances 50%, which is pretty awesome. So again, following up is key. His systems include a lot of follow-up, and agents don't lose business because they follow up too much. They lose business because they don't follow up enough. One of the biggest complaints in real estate is that the agent wasn't very communicative or didn't communicate very much. So imagine if you're following up more regularly, you'll never have that, and you'll be able to capture a lot more business than you would, lose essentially for following up.
And one of the things I asked the team is like, how many people have told you on the phone to go away? And, or a little bit different tone of that, but they're like, no one raised their hand. So then my point is you haven't called them enough. Mm-hmm. And so if you were calling them and they tell you to go away, it means you're doing your job. If you haven't gotten a hold of them yet, they don't even know who you are. So you got to pick them up. You got to pick up the phone.
Yeah. And we're not pressuring anybody to do something they don't want to do. If someone's not ready to buy a house, there's nothing we say is going to make them buy a house tomorrow. So it's just following up, really. So if someone inquired with us about real estate, we're just doing our job and following up with the person. So, I feel like we shouldn't be told to go away anyway. So that's, the main purpose of every phone call should be to set an appointment. So I just had on my huddle this morning with the team, every call should end with an appointment. If you're not going to meet with the people, make an appointment for the next time you're going to talk with the person. So every call should make an appointment, and that's going to help you stay in touch with your pipeline of people that you're doing business with. And it's going to help you keep your business more organized. So, end every conversation with an appointment for the next action, whether that's a face-to-face meeting or a voice-to-voice phone call. Another thing is he talked a lot about having options. When you're sharing something about lead conversion is people don't like being told what to do. Like, this is how it's going to be. When you give them options, everybody prefers options over being told what to do. So that was a big key area of his lead conversions segment of the presentation. The more you give your leads options for how to move forward, then you're going to have better luck with them typically. So he talked about the best ways to introduce your contacts to lenders, and a surefire way to have them, agree to do that. And so that was awesome. He talked about going on your listing appointments with a checklist of items of what you should be going over in those listing appointments. So that way you're not just winging it every time, which was really helpful. So if you'd like that, also, you can connect with me or connect with Todd, and we'll get that to you. Something he talked about is eagles. Something he says, eagles don't flock with turkeys. So don't be a turkey. So that has to do with, negative mindset folks, doom and gloom folks. Eagles don't flock with turkeys. So don't be a turkey. Top agents in the world wake up early, dress for success. Assistance setup. He talked about his whole way of how he was consistently doing 120 to 180 listings a month, and his whole system for that. How to address a no-show if you go on a seller appointment and or a buyer appointment and the person no-shows you. We talked about that, which was awesome. A marketing plan, dressing appropriately. He touched a lot about dressing appropriately. Kind of we're in this era now where, everyone's going more and more casual. But, his opinion is that we should dress professionally. Your attire should strengthen your message is the phrase that he said.
I think when you are dressed with for me, I wear jeans and a dress shirt a lot, but I should put on slacks, put on the sport coat. It keeps your own mindset, like you're a professional as well. So, I have a different feeling when I am dressed up with a dress shirt versus a golf shirt versus a t-shirt. I feel different when I've got, a suit on. You have a, kind of level of authority because you are the professional in this business.
Yeah. Just think about when you're meeting someone for the first time. And I don't know if everyone has this thought process, but over the years, I meet a lot of people for the first time, and I think I'm meeting this person for the first time. How should I be dressed? And so if there's a reason why you would think that, then there's obviously an effect on how you're dressed has an effect. Yeah. So that means if you feel like you should dress a certain way on the first meeting, you should probably be dressing like that all the time.
Oh, yep.
So he talked about getting in state. before your appointments, getting in state. He talked about the difference between an affirmation and an incantation. So, that was great. And he talked about how he goes over his seller appointments and basically has a very, 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 very high success rate with those. And it has a lot to do with being confident when you walk into the seller appointment. He talked about commitment patterns. He talked about objection handling during appointments. He talked about price objections. He talked about menus for different purposes, for listings, for buyers, for recruiting that you can offer. Again, offering options to the subjects of those meetings. More, he talked about isolating objections, and he gave these different examples. So it's really, it was an amazing event. I think everyone who went, all the feedback that I got was excellent from everyone that I've spoken to since then. And I have 7 pages of notes. If you'd like me to share those with you, you can reach out to me and I'll share them. I have them in a shareable link. But we'd love to see you at the next event, next time we do it. And the vision boarding one tomorrow is going to be awesome. So hopefully some of you can make it to that.
Yeah, if we get a packed house tomorrow, we'll definitely host it again. I know we've got 19 registered, and that's without my team. So we got we'll have 30 people in the room, no doubt, and our capacity is 30 to 35. So looking forward to seeing that room filled with our first event of the year. So I'm looking forward to seeing that room filled and being used because it's here. Let's go learn. I mean, the more we can learn, the more we can earn, and that's the biggest thing. I mean, this event that we just had was, if you had the coupon code, it was free. And so when you got someone up there sharing 3 hours worth of content that he's used over the last 20 years, why not soak it in? Because people just want to stay home and not go out and not get in front of things. You have to get out there and get in front of this stuff. And if you took 5 things from the 20 that are here, Daniel, I mean, that's a lot to add to your business.
Yeah. If you're an agent that's closing 5 transactions a year and you're happy with that, that's fine. But if you want to understand how some agents are doing 12 or 20 or 50 or 100 or 200, then that takes learning from those agents that are experiencing that level of business. And so you're not just going to keep doing the same thing for many years. You'll become very experienced at doing the same thing, but it's not going to teach you how to do more business. So you might be an agent out there that's doing 8 to 12 deals a year and feel like, this is amazing. Or, not that this is amazing, but I've been doing this for 10 years. So I'm so experienced. There's nothing left for me out there to learn because I've been doing this for 10 years. But what you've been doing for 10 years is the same thing and it's yielded you the same amount of business. So what you haven't learned, if I'm speaking to that person, what you haven't learned is how to scale up. Yes, you might know every detail about the contract. Yes, you might know about every pitfall a buyer or seller can make. But what you haven't learned is how to double your business. So there's always something that we can learn from agents that are doing business at a higher level. And it may not resonate with you. You might go to a seminar and see how someone's doing triple your business and say, I don't want to do it. I don't like that. I don't want to do it that way. But if you go to a few of these seminars, you'll see how several different people are doing that level of business, and one might resonate, or you might take some nuggets from each of them and come up with your own thing. So that's what I would suggest to anyone out there who is very experienced but wants to do more business. Because I've been there in the past where I'm like, what can I, before I ever signed up for coaching, for example, I said, I've been doing this for 10 years. What could a coach teach me that I don't already know? Well, a whole ton. So that's what I've learned since signing up for coaching. And Todd was very instrumental with me in that introduction back in 2000.
I've tried different coaching, and it's like, you find the one that works, and it's if you can find the value of what's there, it's going to definitely help. And there's always something we can learn. That's why I sit there and try and mastermind with other leaders that are doing the same volume or business or time frame as us. I mean, I'm learning stuff from agents that have been in the business 2 years. So it's all when they came in and what they gained, because it's something we can implement to help our lives out.
And what I would say is, for a lot of people, coaching is more expensive than they're willing to pay. So something else that you can do is, through that trickle down effect, partner with people who've soaked in a lot of coaching, like Todd and myself, and then you can be a benefit of that coaching education and information. Right?
be a benefit of our expense, but gain the value, and then you'll realize you're ready to go out and do it, because that $1,000 a month or $2,000 a month or whatever it is, not to dive into the coaching, but I looked at coaching companies that were $500 a month, got a lot of value out of them, but then you realize, 1,000 is not much more, 2,000 is not much more, because it's what you're getting for the money, and it's who you're around, for what's there. So, and what they're going to bring. You got to look at the level of it also depends on where you want to scale to.
Yeah. And I would say also that just having a mindset of being open-minded to learning. So I took these 7 pages of notes, and this is not uncommon for me when I go to one of these events. I have lots of these documents with multiple pages of notes from different things that I attend. And this is a coach that I've heard practically everything he's ever said lots of times. And I still, took 7 pages of notes. And I know that I'm not implementing a lot of these things in my business. So just having an open mind to learning, and also having a system in place for, taking notes and organizing them in a way that you can implement them in the future, and reviewing those notes, or even teaching the notes. Those are all ways that you can help memorize and start implementing those notes. So thanks, Todd. We will.
Yes, sir. Let's do it. Let's go crush on Monday and get ahead of this week as it slowly warms up today, because it's obviously freezing out, or was freezing outside. I'm sure it's a little bit warmer.
Yep, it was in the 30s. That's
God forbid, you people up north. I don't know how you live with this.
All right, everybody. We'll see you.
See you. Have an awesome week.